Liverpool. Hello, Christina.
Hi, nice to see you guys.
Hello. What? How
Hi.
are you?
Good. Yeah, I've been thinking about your project actually. Glad we're have this moment before everybody comes because I'm just looks like yeah, I'm launching an NFT project. It looks like it's going to be a hit and I have in there plan one of the aspects of it is to do a project for the homeless in Loveland like I described when you guys reached out that first time. So it looks like it'll happen sooner than later. So I'd love to be, a test run for what you guys have going or part of it in some way. So that's why I'm here because I'm really excited about it.
Hmm.
But
Oh.
I know it's a course. I just wanted to give you the download.
Mhm. What is this NFT you're launching?
It's what so NFTs are what brought me into Web3 like over a year ago. And I actually I actually have a Genesis NFT that was really crude and it wasn't sophisticated and all kinds of things. Just all kinds of things about it. But one of the things there inside of that was a seed of this NFT project because I saw right away what NFTs could do for a regenerative system. I saw right away, like I was just like, it was just like a path. So I've been on that path for a while, but so this particular project is me finally getting all the way full circle and just putting the entire the way this garden operates as a regenerative system, putting that into the NFT, like architecturing it in so that and it's all a micro heroes. It's a micro heroes journey. So it's a hero's journey. So it defines a lot of um, interesting structuring for how funds are allocated, what projects they serve, and that kind of thing. And one of them, Indigo, was the name of the microbe that I first conceived of. And his function is ameliorating homelessness, helping high risk projects, kind of helping with funding with things that don't get bank attention that are seem like crazy. Like, so I just wanted to build that in there because I'm that person. Like I've been on this journey to find what I need through the Web3 space, which has been really difficult. So I want to just like set it up so that people like me kind of have a little piece. But that's just one of the 5 micro heroes. But there's a in there is something that is homeless because it's just painful to me to see how many people are homeless and just it breaks my heart every day when I go out. I mean, it's just I can't avoid it, and I'm in a very cloistered part of the world. I'm sure I don't know what the heck is going on, and yet I'm very sensitive to it, so I want to help.
Hmm.
And I've hung out. I did a writing piece in Denver. I hung out with some homeless kids for 2 days and wrote about it. I published it. So yeah, I'm not, I have no weird status issues or, they're I can talk to people who are suffering. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Mhm.
How are you doing?
I'm a bit tired today.
Ah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Moon, what's up?
Having a weird sleeping schedule.
Oh,
But good. We are excited about the summer. What
yay.
do we want to build? Um, we got accepted to talk at this conference in mid-July, which is like it's like the equivalent, the European equivalent of Denver, you know.
Nice.
and we are thinking like, okay, so what else can we build until then, so that we can
Nice.
show more progress, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we realized in our project that maybe it was confusing for a lot of people that we started talking first about homeless and undocumented, because there is an element of recording conversations that is the foundation for the whole project, you know. And many people were didn't see the connection between those two things, and a lot of them thought like, oh, but why maybe they don't want to be recorded. You know, thinking like it's something that should be kept private or not shown. Well, for us, the whole point of the project is to bring awareness and to create, well, like this series of calls is called "Getting to Know Your Neighbors," you know, instead of the "Know Your Customer" regulations.
Yeah, beautiful.
And also, like the long-term project is to do a basic income, not only for homeless and undocumented, but for everyone.
Yeah, that was clear to me too. That was what initially brought me into your project. Yeah.
So we are thinking like, how do we rebrand? How do we change the way we explain the project that it's clearer for people?
Yeah.
Because, for example, the conversations, recording conversations was always the means to create community. And as a second uh, effect of this community is that we can create an alternative to KYC and give these people an identity and trust in these people. Yeah. And with that, uh, talk to government and say like, hey, let us give them this debit card. But you cannot do the debit card without first doing the recording the conversations, because that is what gives you the proof, the guarantees of identity.
Yeah. So do you mind describing how it works? Because I haven't really spent enough time, and I haven't been in enough meetings with you guys to really understand, I think, how it's operating or what you see.
Mm-hmm. So the idea is you meet with someone else in the system and you will record a conversation, basically what we are doing now, you know?
Yeah.
To get to know the other person, and we will provide a series of guidance on how to have authentic conversations and not to stay in superficial stuff. Like maybe, I don't know, I don't know, we can have like prompts like what to talk about, or we will be exploring that during the summer also. But the idea is that you get to know people for real, who they are.
Yeah.
And since it's recorded, like now we're talking with you, and we had this authentic conversation, but someone else in the community will see this and be like, oh, okay, so I also start learning who is Christina, right? And maybe then, yeah, and the idea is that we will have a series of conversations with you, or, but not just ourselves, but the other members of the community. And in each of those, we create like a
series of conversation,
yeah,
which is on your own profile, like my profile, and there will be this series of conversations, at least one per month.
Mhm.
And like that, yeah, we can begin to really know each other, and and I think about it like a command, how these conversations can serve the humans on this earth. Like, for example, we can think about the documentary Humans, where people are talking about them. They are sharing stories, experiences, knowledge, and they are sharing what they are. And it's so, it's make people grow when
Mm.
they see this sharing.
Wait, you're talking about the documentary by Jan Arthus Bertrand.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Christina doesn't know about this one. It's a very, very interesting.
Before you go though, I want to show appreciation and really like reflect back to you that that's just such a beautiful functionality, like the one-on-one, but then the community aspect of it, the way it travels.
Mhm.
Because I was part of a intentional community in Oregon, and it was really beautiful. Like we would have interviews with every single member when you brought somebody in, and it ended up being very ceremonial. You were getting ready for your interview, and you were being brought into this family of that were coexisting.
Mhm.
So yeah, it feels like that. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. Although we want it to be less of an interview and more of a catch up,
Conversation.
catch
Yes,
up with a
yes.
friend.
Sorry, yeah, the language, right?
No, no, but I mean, of course, the first time you meet someone, it's sort of like an interview.
True. True.
Uh,
Interesting. I love it.
and Pauline was talking about a documentary which is amazing, and I recommend you watch it. It's just called
Okay.
Human. Yeah,
Human.
yeah. I will send you the link here.
Oh, nice. Oh,
And
I also wanted to tell you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
um, Partnerism. Have you guys heard about partnerism yet? I did a sort of a series of lessons with her not that long ago. Neil uh, Takimoto from the Seeds environment is very much into partnerism. And I think when you're looking for the kinds of conversations you want to have, it might be an interesting investigation for you. And I'll look it up. And during the time we're together, I'll make sure I drop it in the chat. But I just want to tell you about it.
okay.
no.
Mm,
So that's
so
the
the idea
first
is like we have a series
part.
of conversations with one individual, and they're all in their profile. So in a way, this will create a documentary of who is this person. Yeah.
Nice.
And on top of that, we add the functionality to make a donation to the profile of this person, which would be, if we structure it legally correctly, these donations would be tax deductible. And on top of that, we add the card, which enables you to easily spend the money that was donated to you.
That's cool. That makes it easy. And
And
that makes it easy for people who are not on Web3 too. So
yeah, because we want it to be like you don't even need to understand what it is to use it. You know? Because
mm,
today, whenever you get into a Web3 community, like pretty much everything is like, oh, first you need to learn how it works.
right?
It's like
Yes.
saying before you can drive a car, you need to know how to build an engine. I'm like, no, nobody cares about that. Like, I just want to go from this place to this place.
It's
And
brilliant.
yeah, and Pauline, do you want to say something else?
No, I just want to add this second part of the card, yeah, which is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
And that is citizen-led global basic income. So it's not by the government, but by the people and the citizens. So I like it. Yeah, I just want to add something about the fact that it's conversations with your neighbor, but suddenly when you can watch these videos from all over the world, it become like, okay, now I can know my neighbor in India, my neighbor in the United States, and it became suddenly so wealthy, so yes, all these stories that suddenly we can know, it's very, very, very great. And if someone needs help, we will know it, and the community will be able to help if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call this a web of trust, which is like they use this term to refer to this sort of system where since I trust in Pauline, who I know, and you trust in me, if I tell you, hey, Pauline is someone you should trust in, you transfer this trust you have in me into her. You know? And this way it grows into a web of trust. But the thinking that's originally used for like cryptographic systems and etc. But the thinking here is if we have these recordings, you also get to know the person, not just say like, okay, like Juan trusts in Pauline, so I trust in her. But you also get to know like, oh, this is how Pauline thinks, this is what she likes, etc. And it's not only that you trust in that person now, but you start to care about the person also. And that changes everything because it's no longer the neighbor you see from afar, but the person has a name and you know what they like and etc. And you start to care about them. And that's in the case of like a normal citizen. And but if we're talking about homeless or undocumented people, it's also the same, you know. It's no longer like someone there like oh they need help etc. It's more like this is their story, like, and you start to care about them.
Exactly. And everybody wants to tell their story. And yeah, and not to bring it back to the homeless, because I really do very much resonate with universal income as well. And I'm very fascinated and interested to know how that could work through this vehicle, because I'm still like in the back of my brain, I'm like now super curious about that. I'm like, it's a whole new angle to look at that. But the whole, and like with each other too, like we need to hear each other's stories. We want to tell our stories. And I think the thing that's missing the most in anything that we're facing, including Web3, is the fact that there isn't any registry, or there isn't any way to get the backstory, right? There's no way to hear the narrative of a life. And even from my neighbor, I have no idea what he's like or what his background is. I know he's angry all the time, and I know I don't like him. But I know that if I did know his story, I would have context and it would be a lot better,
Yeah, maybe you would understand why he's angry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what we're thinking is maybe to shift the focus more towards let's build first this a small group of people that do conversations between them, and that start to create this a profile, this identity that could be technically linked to an NFT profile of who you are, and that gives you access to different protocols, different communities.
Oh, that's so good. I like it. Amazing. Yeah, totally.
like for example, Bitcoin grants where you need to prove your identity or other cases. Yeah. Do you think of something when you say that?
Yes. Well, I want to tell you too about, because Bloom, do you guys know about Bloom Network?
Bloom Network.
Yes, it's
Not
So
sure.
they were part of Kernel a bit ago. And it's Magenta. I think she's in Kernel.
Oh, yeah.
They're 13 years in the making of something like but it's interesting. I see that there might be an interesting overlap with you guys because they're changing. I guess it's going to launch in June, which is coming up. But it's like a registry of it's like it has narrative, it has background for the people who are registered there and accessible to each other. So this interest, so what you're describing might put a kind of like an action to, like it's almost like the thread of voice or the thread of narrative between the cards. You know, I know I'm probably butchering the way I'm seeing it, but I see that what you guys are doing would add voice to what they're doing. So anyway, I just had a meeting with them the other day and I'm excited for that project. So I can see how you guys would be well suited for that.
So you think there is a room for collaboration with them?
Totally. 100%.
Hmm.
Their website isn't, oh, thanks for that. The website isn't the one that's going to be launched. It's kind of the old one, but you kind of get a sense of it. But it does look completely.
Is it this one? I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Bloom Network.
There is a drawing
Yeah,
of
that's
a woman. Okay.
But it doesn't look like this. This is kind of their old site. The one they're launching with they've been underground developing it for a while and they're just about to launch. It's really good though. I was like, what? This is what everyone needs. And now you guys are talking about creating this beautiful way of like weaving it all together with this beautiful thread of story. It's really nice. I like it a lot. Cool. Let me get this partnerism stuff to you too. Well, one of them is Rihanna Eisler. Hold on. Let me just concentrate on because it's totally worth it. It changed the way I look at everything, just being in her course and listening to her.
Being in what?
We were in a course, but it's two different women I'm going to turn you on to.
Okay.
Maria Alma. Let me get her first. Alma. We're trying to afford a course with her. It's a whole like year course. She deals a lot with, she's defined two different ways of being in the world. There's a domination culture and then there's a partnerism culture. And so her definition of conflict is when any two humans come together. So conflict isn't the issue. It's how do we
Solve the conflict.
I'm not finding her. Hold on. I'm not looking at the screen right now. Sorry. I'm not a very good multitasker, but I want to get this information to you. Okay. I'm terrible at it.
We're not in a rush here. I lost track of what we were saying.
So I took notes and didn't write her name down. What is up with that? Yeah, sometimes when I'm in a room with you guys, you remind me of the way it feels to be in one of Maria's rooms. So you guys already have it going on, I'm sure, but you'll.
The way of what?
It reminds me of being in one of Maria's rooms. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the way you both communicate in rooms reminds me a lot of how Maria, like you have partnerism going on already.
Mm.
Partnerism. Huh. Maybe this is it. Oh, I think this is Rihanna's, but I'll give you this one. Because I like the way this approach, you can use it in groups, you can use it in communication patterns. I might have to send you the other one just via an email or like a message. I can't quite find it.
Hmm.
But I'm sure that they would be interested anyway in any kind of collaboration, because I think what you're describing really fits well with partnerism in general.
Hmm. So it's like a methodology, or
Yeah.
is it more a philosophy or something like a tool
It's,
of how to achieve that?
I would say it's kind of a tool, only because were you guys present for the Five Nations teaching, the Longhouse teachings? Were you part of that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness. Reach out to Harold Davis and ask him if for that video. So he describes this beautiful function of water and women, and really goes deep on some of that stuff. And so everywhere, like I hear partnerism now all the time. Like I'm just like partnerism, domination, partnerism, domination. And so like so yeah, I would say it's a philosophy and a methodology, but I would say that if we don't step into partnerism, we can basically kiss our earth goodbye. So
Mm,
so let's just do that instead.
okay.
I think it's more a methodology than a philosophy. Yeah, I don't usually go for philosophy much. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It depends on who, but
I'm hearing like partnerism domination. It's uh, uh, like synonyms of what we talk about in our pitch, which was going from competition to collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
Very similar.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. If we don't achieve that, we are just going to destroy each other.
Yeah. And it's like we've been taught in that culture too. So we've been indoctrinated ourselves, right? So it helps to have tools where we can be like, so that it doesn't, when we get together, it's not just a judgment of character. It's not just, it's the trust ends up being something that allows us to express partnerism, which might be new for all of us. You know what I mean? Like I find myself doing dominant things all the time, and I have to self-correct, and I have to be accountable, and
Mm,
I have to
like
so,
what, for example?
oh, you want to know the latest, biggest one that was a really bad? I'll just give you the worst case of
Mhm.
domination that I managed to do not that long ago. So for 6 months, I had somebody here because I'm trying to save the garden, and I've had different iterations of this, and I've been in Web3 for a while now, and I have found that we all have similar visions, and it's really does take the relationship part and the deep listening to really figure out if there's reciprocity, I suppose, whether there's a kind of right. Okay. So it took 6 months for this person to be here, for me to realize kind of a little bit by a little bit that there was some breakdown in communication happening, because when you're in a space with a person for that long, everything is going to get known, right? About each other, about ourselves, and it became clear that we were not as aligned in the vision as I think either one of us thought. And so meanwhile, there was a lot that was produced here. There was a lot that was created here, because I'm in the process of creating different modules for people to use in regenerative lifestyle. And I interview people and I do things like that. And we created a program together. And then I got kicked out of the program that I helped create. And I was pretty upset about that. I was really upset about that. I was so upset about that that rather than saying, hey, I'm really upset about this and we need to talk right now, because it had been building up the whole time, I just decided to like write a cease and desist letter. Well, writing a cease and desist letter is a legal action. When you do that with somebody who's basically kicked you out of your own program, it doesn't go well. It just doesn't go well from there. So he left, gratefully, and I was glad, and he was glad, and it's fine. Like, we're still in process. And in fact, the class that I was telling you about, her name is Maria Alma, and I'll find her and get her to you. We were actually in that class together to learn how to do mediation, because we realized that what had just transpired was broken and that we needed to be able to have the tools to fix it. And so we committed, because we're committed, we're in the same Web3 space. How can we avoid each other? We just can't. So, we both were in the class and both going through the process. And, and through that, I realized that I had this subconscious, like, I felt completely taken to the wall. Was feeling like something I created was being taken from me. And I did a fearful action, and I had to retract that and apologize for it and realize that that's not the way I want to be in the world, and that's not going to solve any issues. Now, it doesn't really change the fact that I still feel like he stole my concept, but I don't care. It's like, I think in a lot of ways, that's also part of ownership, right? Like, we have to be able to create these systems where we're valuing each other and we're supporting each other, so that we're not dependent on creating products all the time. We're just, but at the same time, I think this protection of the membrane is so important. Like, we need to be able to come into agreements with each other, and we need to be able to have communication patterns that allow us to express the conflicts and to express the tensions that we have at any given time.
Yeah.
So that was my big one, my big bad domination act. It's pretty bad though.
Yeah, but there is a reasonable cause for that.
Right? But it doesn't work the way we used to do it, so we got to find new ways to do it.
Yeah, but that's the good part. You say, like, okay, so I had this reaction that is sort of like destructive, competition, domination.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, maybe that doesn't work. Let's try a different strategy to solve this conflict. It doesn't mean like the conflict isn't there, just that you're trying to solve it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is also related to the to recognizing contribution.
Right? We need mechanisms for that we don't have to count on somebody else recognizing us. Oh my God, that would have changed everything. I would have let it go if I just had that. I mean, literally, that was the quintessential thing. That was the thing. I felt like I had been erased. And if I hadn't been erased, I would have been more generous in how I felt about it.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't feel like you were stolen of something, right?
Yeah, right. No. That's true.
It can be either something as simple as like, hey, like this person contributed and helped build this thing, or it can be as complex as like a legal ownership of equity in the project or whatever,
Yeah.
And those are things we can now build easily. I mean, on the technical side, easily, but the cultural and human side, we still need to figure out how to navigate through those things. Um,
Yes. Let me take one moment. My roommate is here. Let me just tell him because I was supposed to do something with him and I kind of changed plans. Let me just, I'll be right back.
mhm. Hmm.
Thanks, guys.
It reminds me when one day someone, a museum stole his photos and videos and just put it in a advertisement in the subway without asking anything. And of course, when it's like fight for justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a friend of a friend was doing some performances in this museum in Paris, one of the biggest modern art museums.
Mm.
And they asked me if I could come to film and photograph the performances. And I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds like an interesting thing. I'll be happy to do it. Right? And that's all we talked about. And then after that, I sent her the videos, etc., photos, and like 2 years after that, I see in the metro my videos being used to promote the museum. And I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness.
we never negotiated anything like this, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Cease and desist.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, it's horrible. I know people are so mean with each other. And the people don't even know what they're doing. It's so crazy. We've got to learn how to honor each other and how to recognize each other and recognize each other's contributions. It's so critical.
It's like we need to have tools to facilitate everything between each other. Because, yeah, either we learn new behaviors,
Yeah.
either we create some tools that like smart contracts where you are sure that your photos and your videos will be, if they are taken, you are rewarded for that.
Yeah, but it doesn't even need to be in a smart contract. It can be a normal legal contract. The
Mm-hmm.
issue is the behavior, the human behavior, saying like, hey, we need to have clear agreement of what everyone here is.
Yeah.
I
Clear
don't know.
agreement.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Between
like,
friends, between people that love each other, because when we're friends, we're like, oh yeah, I trust you. Yes, my answer is yes. And then they're like, I hate you because you just did a horrible thing. I know, I think we have to make it so that we can have these contracts between friends and I like, yeah, a friendly approach to this contractual stuff, which I think does happen through conversation. So I like that the recording, yeah, I could see that you guys are capturing some of that with what you're doing.
hmm, yeah, yeah.
Part of the NFT I'm about to launch, because I'm associated with Dem Pure, it's a community of cannabis growers, actually.
Hmm.
And but they're regenerative cannabis growers, and they incorporate food and stack functioning and all kinds of good stuff. Um, anyway, we've been having these meetings where we want to we want to take over the AM radio waves again. So we're looking to start buying or at least putting together programming for AM radio. So I'm almost wondering if some of this stuff that you guys are talking about could really be strong as an audio play.
Wait, what could be strong as an audio?
Like, I think I share different kinds, well, like conversations, like if you're recording conversations and you're making them accessible. And this is the artist in me and the aesthetic in me as well. Like I like to listen to people talking together. I like to listen to conversations. And so if you're having a community of conversations where you're weaving these pieces of trust, that it could be like a quilt of audio. I mean, it really could be like pretty to listen to somebody's story through the vehicle that you're offering. And stitching together video is so difficult. Audio is such a low frequency thing that you can literally transmit without the use of internet. I'm very interested in radio. I'm very, very, very interested in radio.
I think so, yeah. Because once we have the video, we can just take the audio and or just take a transcript of the audio, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So based from one video, you can generate just audio, just text, and also like little snippets of the whole conversation.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that will probably also happen.
The idea is that
but we do need the video.
Oh yeah, of course. I know.
Also, a big part of the identity thing is to know that it's a real person.
Yeah, I hear you. I got too artsy on
you. The technology is evolving so crazily that there are now like virtual humans, and they look like real people. You know?
Wow.
And the more it spreads, the more the better it is. Like, you don't want to keep that. Some people told us, why you don't show that just for the community of Solidarity Club? But no, it's for everyone. We want to show, to tell the stories, to make visible people who are invisible. And the more we have media to spread these comments,
yeah,
it will be better.
But yeah, definitely creating other formats based on the video is, I think, a great idea.
Yeah. Just a way of sort of highlighting what I'm bringing to the table eventually. So you'll just, you'll know who to go to if you ever have AM pop into your head.
But what does that look like? AM radio? Like, do you need to go to an AM station to do that? Like, and have like, okay.
Yeah. You know how like AM radio and also AM frequencies are super low level. Yeah. So do you guys know about paramagnetism? Has that word ever crossed your table? Paramagnetism. It's like Stonehenge of frequency, kind of. Like, it's the frequencies that were used during the Druids and like way crazy.
Like ancient. The frequencies of the earth.
Frequencies of the earth, and people understood them. So like certain rocks are negatively charged, certain rocks are positive, but it's a super low. It's below AM frequency, but AM frequency is kind of like just a step above that. And I feel like it's important because if things really go south on us and we do lose the internet, like, you can still communicate with other people with AM radio.
If they have the technology.
Well, yes, but
nobody has radios anymore.
It's true. I guess you'll have to find your local radio. I'm gonna make radio cool again. I swear to God, I am. Uh,
Yeah.
so thank you for sharing. I'm probably gonna, I can't find Maria's information. I still want to share it with you. Is there
Okay,
anything you want
you
to
can
talk? I
send
gotta
it
go
to
soon,
us
but,
later.
huh?
You can send it to us later,
Okay.
or we can look for it. It's called what, Maria? What?
I think it's Alma. That's what I'm trying to, I can't believe I did all these notes and I didn't even write her name down.
ALMA?
I think so, but I can't find her when I search for it.
Yeah, that's not a very uh, different name.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you search for Juan, you'll find a million.
Let me spend more time. Let me look again. Hold on. I'll be patient with myself. She
Mm-hmm.
works with like nations. She does conflict. She doesn't call it conflict resolution.
Ooh.
She's awesome.
And this is a person that was doing the therapy thing you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it was a group of people from Seeds environment. You guys are familiar with Seeds?
Seeds.
It's a alternative currency.
It's in the
It's
common stack.
Like trusted seeds,
like what?
like trusted seeds, and you become.
No, just Seeds. And I think that they've got a Seeds currency and then a Seeds DAO. But Haifa is the software company
Ah,
that is behind that.
okay.
Yeah, so there's like thousands of people in the Seeds environment. It's kind of funny. It's like a lot of students in a university with no professors.
Mm.
So we just end up like meeting together, but there's some of us that have been more sort of like, I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, there's a lot of regenerative. Oh, Maria ARPA. I found it. Okay.
It's a website called Join Seeds.
Yeah, that's the one. It's
Okay.
pretty cool. That's the after NFT is that I went to Seeds. Um, Maria ARPA. Wait.
Mm. Mm.
ARPA. But a lot of us are trying to figure out how to do what would have traditionally been called conflict resolution, because when you get into these kinds of um, environments, like we have conflicts with each other, like I just described, so there's a whole group of us that are trying to figure out how to do these peaceful communications. I found her. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
And it
She's
also is very related to to trust and care, because
yeah,
if you have a conflict with someone you don't know, you are like, fuck that person, I don't care, they can go fuck themselves. If you have a
yeah,
conflict with with your brother or your
right.
best friend, you're like, I love this person but hate this person also. And I trust them, but I was hurt, but I still care about them. So it's worthwhile to invest the time to resolve the conflict. You know?
Exactly.
Whereas if you have a conflict with someone you just met, you are more likely to say like, "Okay, I'm not gonna waste my time solving
Mm-hmm.
this conflict."
Yeah, exactly. Domination language. Waste my time.
Hmm.
Time cannot be
And it's
wasted.
also about like, how is this thing called? A sunk cost bias, I think. That's what they call
Mm,
it. Which means something in which you have already invested a lot, whether it's cost as in money or cost as in time, building a relationship, you are more uh, biased to keep try to keep on making it happen.
yeah. Yeah, unless you just are there to extract whatever they have to your benefit, and that appeals to you more because you've never been taught how to have relationships with people. Like that, dude, you know, like I think we're even losing the ability to have relationships with each other without having ulterior motives just because of the way our society is. We have to learn how to love each other all over again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Marie is amazing. And if you guys want, like, because we're trying to put together a training with her as a group. So if you feel like you want to be like, know about that or whatever, I can. She's like one of, I don't know, she's a very powerful individual. Very, has been seen a lot, knows a lot about how people work.
Right. We want to create like a formation, a training for people who will do these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it will be a training, but then we will continue to learn with each other. It's just to remind us that we need to learn.
Right.
We are not yet ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe instead of training, we could say it's like a guild. You know?
Mm.
Because I don't want it to be like, okay, so you do like 8 hours training and now you have your diploma that you know how to do
Right.
conversations.
Right. Yeah.
I, it's more about like having this group of people that are, uh, no, not participants, like practitioners of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the art of conversation, and we all
And
want to know this art and share what we learn on our journey.
yeah, and
That's
conversation is also another way of saying conflict resolution, of saying collaboration and clear communication. And
Mhm.
so it's I would, yeah, it's totally related to this what you're saying about Maria.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd be a good ally. Well, it's been really a pleasure. I understand more about your project now too. And yeah, I'm excited the kernel never ends, that we get to have more conversations. So
Yes, me too.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you want to, I would, if you want to know more about the NFT too, it'll be a little bit more ready. You want me to send you the white paper when I have it so you can take a look at it?
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
I was
Okay,
gonna
because there's
ask
some fun.
you to send us some, or
Mhm.
do you have like slides? Will you do some slides, or you will
Yeah,
write?
do you want it now? Do you just want to take a look at it? You want to see it?
Sure.
Okay. Now just
But,
know this is pre-launch. This is pre-launch. So
yeah.
just okay.
It's the process, yeah. Okay.
What do you mean? Shall we keep it off the recording then?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, because we're still, I don't know. See, it's weird. Like I feel like I'm like, yeah, we're among friends, right?
Mhm.
So it's anyway, it's so close to launch and I'm so excited about it. But it's going to change. This particular document is going to change.
Yeah, it
I
will
just
improve.
Yeah, and I just created the flow chart. The flow chart is so elegant. It's so pretty. So keep an eye on it. It's going to change over time. And if you guys have anything that you see, because there's going to be parts of it that might resonate with you. So if you feel like you want to comment, if you want to do anything with it, let me know. Yeah, if you like it, there it is. I made the art too. It's a generative piece. So it's like.
So what I understood earlier is that uh, these NFTs, they will evolve also.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So they are not like static.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a whole mechanism for taking gardens, transferring them from ownership to community trust. But then there's also, because I've had built up the LLC of the, I've built up the LLC of Lala Gardens, which is maybe going to be the thing that gets distributed. We still have to figure that part out, but I have a team that's doing that. But there's a
Microbes.
yeah.
Cool.
I love
And
that.
each microbe has a different function. And then when you scroll down, like each piece has like when they get generated, there's a part of a hero's journey narrative that's attached to each asset. So you'll get a readout of a very individual hero's journey for each piece. It's pretty cute. And then each basically the membrane is the thing that has different utility, the specific utility. And I've broken it down in there, but I'm going to add the chart to it. I'm going to add the flow chart to it the next few days. So check back on it. You'll see it.
What kind of microbe is it? Is it from the gut, from the garden?
Yeah, well, my first microbe that I have in that generative or in that original NFT, what do you call it? My original one. There's a story of, so it's in the NFT if you read it. It's the story of that first microbe was in that original NFT.
Yeah, indigo.
So, and it's a real function. Like the indigo really does that. Like I mean, it's not the name of it. It's a fictional name, but like there is an organism that goes through the plant that carries a specific signaling that is the color purple that is in the blossom. So that's all due to microorganisms that are transferring the minerals from the clay, and it's all in the facultative anaerobic bacteria. So yeah, I'm really intimate with the microbes, and so a lot of this is built on how microbes work, like not just hypha, but how actually bacteria work. So I've called them quorums because bacteria have this very unique function where if they're in a happy place and they're getting fed and they're being nurtured, and their population grows to a certain point, the next generation actively mutates to become a different thing, and it creates the membrane. So they describe that as reaching quorum, and then the membrane is formed, and that's the governing body for the whole population. So is the way it like receives information from its outside environment and then protects its community as well.
Wow.
Right.
This is very cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. For what we're doing, looking at the facultatives, very good for biomimicry.
Yeah. I'm very interested in everything related to microbiology.
Oh, yay. Very good. Okay. Yeah, in fact, the natural farming that I do is the very way that I'm remediating the clay. It's the only thing that I found that it actually turns clay, it takes the minerals in the clay and makes them bioavailable to the plant. Because permaculture doesn't work everywhere. And the reason why it doesn't work everywhere, the way people think it should work everywhere,
not the same land,
is because it doesn't do the remediation. It doesn't deal with the microbes. You can't just build it and they will come with microbes. You actively have to go to a pristine area and you have to gather them and not dig them up and bring them back. You have to literally like grow them out of that environment, right? And then bring it back to your disturbed lands and grow them there, and then have them have a relationship with the microbes that are there. They form a relationship. So you literally have to steward them into your property.
It's like an organ transplant operation.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, this is a whole area I'm fascinated with, and I know like 1% of it, but I am very fascinated by that. And
nice.
Either in the land or also in our bodies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read or heard about this like a microbiome transplant, like fecal transplant, and it's pretty much the same thing actually, what you're saying, but just within a human.
Exactly. I'm going to send you guys you guys want to see a video on how to do an IMO box. I'm putting together this curriculum. This is another one of these things that's not quite public, but I'd love to share it with you. I went up to teach in South Dakota at Pine Ridge to teach natural farming, and we took a videographer with us, and
these entities of microbes, they will contain like educational
Yes.
stuff about how this particular microbe works in the ecosystem.
Well, except they're fictional, right? So like science, but cyano is a real thing, and Rona is kind of a play on Corona, because I'm trying to sort of like, can we just be friendly with the viruses? Like,
Yeah,
why do we have to go to war with viruses right now? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But
exactly. We
as
will
a
never
natural,
win. Also,
crazy.
we have to
Oh my
collaborate
God.
with them.
So, but there will be access within the NFT community that's being built that will, like, I just dropped another video for you guys. I think you'll like it.
No, no, no. You pasted the
Oh, I
same.
did. Oh, weird. Oh, let me go back and get it. Sorry. This is a good one. Oh, copy video link. Okay. But there will be access to natural farming curriculum and teaching and support through the community of the NFT, but not through the individual. But yes, actually the one who's responsible for that part, I think, is, I can't remember. I think it might be Cyano. He's the alchemist microbe.
Excellent.
Well, it's been super fun, you guys. I've been wanting to catch up with you guys more. So I love seeing you whenever I'm in a room, and reach out if you ever want to talk again. But I should probably go walk my goats now.
Yes. Well, we will be doing these calls every week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to join next week, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, to build in public the project.
Okay, cool. I'll start coming. This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned doing something with Maria, right? I think that would definitely interest us to join.
Yes, she would be super happy to hear from you. She's so cool. She's so cool. She's amazing. She's very, yeah, there's no fluff there. She's the real deal on every level.
So we'll read all the things you just sent us.
Yes, we'll learn a lot with
and
that.
get back to you then.
Okay.
So thanks for coming.
Thank you for hosting such a great space. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.